Hello and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending, of course, what part of the world that you're in. I want to welcome to Man Talk Mondays, a very important part of the Ronnie and Yasheka dating discussions platform on YouTube. Make sure as you listen in, you take the time to just subscribe and also hit the notification bell to let you know whenever their new videos dropped. So, there's two things I'm sure that you have noticed listeners as you've tuned in. Well, one, I'm wearing a Harley Davidson shirt. Yes. Now, let me make this clear. Harley Davidson is not sponsoring this platform or this program, although that wouldn't be bad. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know about me, is that I am a Harley Davidson owner and rider and have been for a number of years. I truly believe as a man that there's a couple things that you should have on your bucket list. One is a pickup truck, a BMW M5, a Ferrari, and a Harley Davidson motorcycle. But again, that may not be yours, and it may be part of it. And then there's some things that you may want to add on to it. Anyhow, the second thing that you probably noticed is that there's some background music. So this is something I want to try on this platform and on this particular program, just to give a little feel for it. And you can let me know based on the comments how you feel about it. Now, what I have noticed on the Man Talk Mondays is that there are quite a number of women that tune in. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's just very few things that we as men do that women are always going to try to find some way to tune in and see what we're doing. And you know what? In many cases, that's okay. I'm not really going to make an issue of that. Now, we do have Women Talk Wednesdays with Yasheka, but this particular program, I think, well, let's just say this segment is something that I'm sure is something that women could get something from, because it's a question that I'm always been asked, and I guess now with the creation of social media, we seem to sometimes be in this type of loop or these trending questions and subjects. And so I'm going to try to do my best for the men out there to talk to us as well as speak to the women. So, of course, while this particular segment is for men, it will be good to know that women are tuning in, and hopefully there's some things that they can get from this. So, let's proceed. The question is, are there any quality men left? Now, short answer, of course there is. That's something that has always been the case, but I'm often curious as to why there are many that believe that. So what I'm going to attempt to do is maybe hit on some points that maybe you didn't consider, because I'm sure the men will agree that of course there are quality men out there. They're all over the place. But why are you not meeting them? Or have you met them and you're not ready for them? You're not prepared, or you didn't choose to qualify, if I may use that word, for these particular men. But here's something that I always ask that the client, if she's a female, a woman, what is a quality man in your eyes? So in other words, what does a man have to be, do, act like in order for you to say, you know what, this is a quality man, and I'd like the opportunity to him to get to know me better, spend some time. This is someone that I can see as part of my growth, someone that I could really spend time and eventually marry. Now, if you know anything about me, and I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Ronnie Walker. Ronnie Walker, master coach of exceptional relationship, dating, and sex. And again, on the Man Talk Monday segment of the Ronnie and Yasheka dating discussions, we're talking about quality men. So I'm asking her, hey, what has to happen? What does he have to do? What does he have to say? What does he have to believe in order for you to consider him a quality man? And of course, The answers vary all over the map. Now, here's the thing. You as a woman can want whatever you want. And I'm sure that if you ask the very intentional men, the men that are pro-dating, pro-courting, pro-marriage, they will pretty much spell out to you who they are and why they feel that they're quality men. Now, again, just because you don't think they're quality men doesn't mean they aren't. It just may be the quality men that you're looking for. But if there's one thing I do know, that there are men of high quality out there. Where are they? They're all over the place. So, know what a quality man in your eyes is, what he has to be, what he has to look like. Now, we can all get into the specifics in terms of how realistic what you're asking for, but just at least just take an honest moment to decide what that is for you. Because see, here's something that I find women tend to do or believe, is that they always have this mindset that all women are on the same accord when it comes to the man in their life. Now, we're not talking, for those who say, no, it's not, yes. We're not talking about whether one likes a muscular or slim or making a certain income. I'm just talking about the basics, the fundamentals. So they'll say, Ronnie, I'm looking for a man who is a good provider. He's loyal, a good sense of humor. Okay. And it's not until I go deeper and say, okay, so define loyalty, define a good sense of humor. This is where the different definitions come in. So, do you really know what that is? And if so, then this is a good time to try to put that together. And with that being said, some of you already have this. Some of you have it and not really dialed down even the specifics of that. So let's just take, for instance, sense of humor. Now, some people think a man with a sense of humor, if you're looking at a comedy show together, one may like Chris Rock, one may like Eddie Murphy, the other may like Kevin Hart, others may pick a comedian, others like the humor dark, others like it more bubbly. See, again, these are things that for some women and for some men, it's a deal breaker. Now, it may not be that for me, but it may be that for you. If you're talking loyalty in terms of what? Now, it's around loyalty to me. Okay, well, what is it that he has to exhibit that gives you a sense of peace and that he is loyal to you? Now, here's where you hear the well, Ron, it would be common sense. And no, for some women, they really have dialed down what loyalty means. And some women are very vague when it comes to describing that. And therein lies some of the challenges. Now, I'm sure the men tuning in, because we are talking to the men's segment, they have no problem of sharing with you who they are, what they're about, what they're focused on, and who they want in their life when it comes to a woman. They let you know that they're here to provide a space for her to be who she is, safety, knowing that this is something that is important to them, because knowing what's important to them, you have a sense of security that they know where they are. So they've done the work mentally, they've done the work physically, taking care of their body. They have some sense of spirituality. They believe in a higher being. They believe in a good, solid financial income that's going to provide to make sure the light stays on and no one's evicted. And these, of course, as we know, are pretty much the basics for them to maintain themselves. And they know that including a woman in their life is important, that she knows this. So be very clear when you talk about these definitions of what to you a quality man is. So I've made sure that I don't get too far off a tangent, but I really wanted to make sure that I started with the foundation. Know who you are and know what quality is to you and what has to happen for that man that you want to have in your life is a quality man, because they do exist. So then what are the challenges in that? Now, let me also preface this by saying, ladies, this is not a beat up session. I'm not here to beat up on the men. I'm not here to beat up on the women. But again, year after year, call after call, coaching after coaching, consult after consult, these are things that consistently come up. And I would be an absolute idiot to not pick up on the pattern. But now, with that being said, what I have noticed is this huge trend where you happen, well, it could be a trend. It may not be something that, well, in my professional and personal experience, there are many times I've come across men and women who really, any mention of what I think is going to be good pointers or resources or tools to help them be a better them, they take offense to it. They get defensive, and you're beating up on it, you're bashing, and that's never my intentions, never my intention. So I really need you to hear this and know that I come from a place of love, and I come from a place of loving to see people get better, man or woman, or shall I say man and woman. So please take this in the spirit that it's given. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out in the comments or reach out to me, RonnieandYasheka@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to address any questions that you have concerning this. So men and women have asked me to address this because the men, the quality men, because if they know anything about my platform, they know that I'm all pro dating, pro courting, pro men leading the direction of the relationship, and I'm pro marriage. Now, it's pretty sad that I have to say this, but not just pro dating, pro courting, pro marriage, pro consensual sex, but healthy. I'm talking about men who put in the time, they put in the money, they invested in themselves, and they are the best they can be. And they consistently reach out to me and say, Ronnie, listen, when you're speaking to the women, please make sure that you remind them that we're out here. We're out here and we're putting in the work. And I know that if you look at my Facebook page, you notice that I showcase brothers out there getting on one knee. I show brothers taking care of the family. I show brothers that are doctors, attorneys, leading the community, leading their churches, and leading their families. But first, leading themselves. I also showcase a gentleman who is a therapist, because especially within the Black community, this is not as prevalent as it should be. But it's something that I'm putting myself out there to let men know that there are spaces for men to go and seek the help that they need. If it's after a major breakup or a divorce, or challenges and the things that you've grown up, traumas that you may have experienced, that before you involve another woman, you seek the help that you need to seek mentally so that you come to her in a healthy, healed place. I'm very big on that. Very, very big on that, because this is something that far too many women come to me and they discover this at a space when challenges hit. Now, maybe at the time, the man, for whatever the reason, he, did not communicate this to her or communicate it effectively. And now this couple's on the verge of a breakup, divorce, because it's taken a toll on the relationship. So, men, I implore you to go out there and put in the work. If there's someone that you need to see and you have no way or having a challenge is finding the resources, by all means, reach out to me in the comments or RonnieandYasheka@gmail.com. That's RonnieandYasheka@gmail.com. And you can also go to the website Dating Discussions and reach out to me as well there and say, listen, Ron, I'm looking for someone that I can speak to, and then allow me to reach out to you and give you the resources that you need so that you can put yourself in a better space mentally. And that way put you in a better space to meet the woman that you are so that you can be the quality man. But to the quality men that are out there, please know that I'm doing everything I can outside of the efforts that you're putting in, be it online or offline, to connect with quality women. Because if there's one thing I do know, there's quality women out there as well, because I speak to a lot of these quality women. So then, again, why the challenges? Well, ladies, sometimes you don't do your homework. And what does that mean? Well, you could want, let's just say, for instance, we have a huge number of women that want a man who's 6 foot and over. Now, what their height is, we're not going to focus too much on that. But then when you find the average height for a man is about 5'7", 5'8", then you have to really be honest about what is the likelihood of you finding a man that particular height. Now, is it possible? Of course. So let's talk about income. Well, we know that on average, if we're talking about the Black community, that, believe it or not, Black men make more than Black women. Although there are reports that'll have you telling you it's the opposite. Why is that important? Well, there are many women who believe that a quality man has to make a decent income in order to provide. So given the numbers that are out there, there are quality men that do make money to provide. Now, does every single one of these men have a 6-bedroom, 5.5 bathroom mansion and 3 cars and things of this nature? No, we're not talking about that. But again, we're talking about a man who can make sure you have a modest household and keep the lights on, food on the table. He has a job, career, trade. But here's the challenge when we talk about the homework. Ladies, some of you live in a place geographically that the likelihood of meeting such men in the area is slim to none. So this is when a little homework has to be done, because the chance of you meeting them and where you may live at, if you're in the Midwest or whatever, maybe those brothers are on the East Coast or the West Coast, maybe in the South, far away from you. So if you are in a space where you're okay with a long distance relationship, that is probably going to be your only option to connect with such a man. So think about that. Okay, what about that if you're only dating Black men? Well, then look at the demographics of where you live. You want a man of a particular trade. So, I mean, all of this plays a part. And yes, you have to do the homework, because, far too many women put themselves in a space where they are skating uphill. And while I take pride in being the eternal optimist, I've lived long enough to know that there's just certain things that you're going to have to put in effort to make sure that you're putting your odds in your favor to meet that significant other. Okay, so making sure that the demographics are in your favor for the type of man that you're looking for. Another reason women are having challenges with finding quality men, well, far too many women are trying to change the wrong man. And in efforts to do that, they are walking right by the man who really is the one that they should be with. So you find a potential man, a man who could potentially be quality, and you're trying to build a man. And as much as women are online talking about they don't want to do that, trust me when I tell you, ladies, your friends, your family members are out there trying to build men. And a lot of these women are out there trying to maintain a man that it truly is a waste of their time. And meanwhile, they're consistently meeting nice quality men. And here we are, they friend zoned them. They find some reason as to decide why this man is not the one. Meanwhile, by the time they get to me and we go over their scenarios, I'm going, wait a minute, hold on. This sounds like the men that you all consider friends. So why are they the friends and the one that you are telling me about is everything other than what you're looking for? And sometimes women, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I don't want to make them feel bad, but at the same time, far too many of them believe that they've put so much time in, they don't want to admit that there's an overall setback in their efforts to change this man. But nothing's going to get better, because we all know once you've lived long enough, you can't change a person. That person is either going to be inspired to do it, or he's going to be in a situation where he's desperate enough to change. Either way, that probably has nothing to do with you. So, reevaluate the type of men that you're spending your time with. You also have some women who purposely date men who is not their type, just to prove that there aren't any quality men out there. Now, that may sound far-fetched to you, but I can promise you, gentlemen, ladies, that happens more than it should be. I told him, like, well, what, in the consult, Ronnie, I told you, Mr. Ronnie, look, there's no good men up there. I'm like, well, what were you doing spending your time with this knucklehead anyhow? He sounds nothing like what you described you're looking for. And it could have just been as something as, well, I was bored. He caught me at the right time. I was vulnerable. Whatever the reason is, now you've wasted 3, 4, 5, 6 months of your time, a year more, with someone that you knew was not the one. And women do this. Trust me when I tell you, ladies. Trust me when I tell you, gentlemen. Women do this more than you know. So, stop wasting your time. Cut your losses. Reach out to me and let me get you back on track mentally, so that you can be prepared for that gentleman that you really do deserve. Okay? So, with that, let me see what else I have. I just want to make sure that I cover some points. I'm not going to cover them all. I may have to do a part 2. Yeah. Even in the world of dating, when you talk about dating the right man, ladies, there are times when you make it a lot harder than it has to be. I'll give you an example. There were studies that were done, and it's years old, where you ask the men, what has to happen? What are the things that has to happen that's going to inspire you to ask her for the second date after going on the first date? You know how many things the men listed? 3 things. 3 things. Look good, intelligent, and it doesn't matter what the third one is. However, ask a woman what has to happen in order for her to accept the invitation for a date, and you're not even going to guess how many things women tend to list. 300. That's right. In her mind, she scanned all of these things that has to happen. But see, the brain is a beautiful thing, so maybe 300 doesn't seem like 300 to them. But when you think of the things that when you ask a range of women what they're looking for in order for the second date, does it really have to be that intense? Maybe you're overthinking certain things. Some things you may not find out on the first date, and maybe the second date. Of course, as long as you're feeling safe and you're in a position where if you're not comfortable, you can leave, then maybe it's worth taking a chance for a second time around. Just some thought, okay? I'm thinking three things. You've seen the memes, you've seen the stories where the list of whatever a man is asking for or what he is just the smallest, and the women's list is like scrolls upon scroll. I mean, it's just never ending. And see, truth be told, a lot of that, although it's in jest, it is things that a lot of men really feel in their own personal experience. And there are some women who say, well, okay, well, I'll admit to half of that list, but maybe not all of it. But it's there. It's there. And sometimes these are things that keep women from meeting good quality men. So here's another thing. And I'll end on this because I really don't want to go too long. It starts with you. Ladies, it starts with you. And I've said this with men, and if anybody knows me, I'm extremely direct and hard on men because I don't want these men to be someone who's asking for someone that they don't qualify for. Don't be the opposite of what you're asking for in a woman. Make sure you've put in the work. You've invested in yourself. You have to be the one that's healed. So if there's any traumas, if there's any, and you'll hear me, I'll repeat this over and over and over because I strongly believe in this. There's far too many men blow up the chance of meeting the right one because they really aren't doing the work. And if there's anything that I've learned is that you can't avoid the work. You can't. You can try all you want. Far too many taking this microwave approach to this. So men, and I'm speaking to us quality men, yes, I'm including myself in that, you want to make sure that if we can, as we reach out to those brothers who may have some challenges. I mean, we're in a time where people will have a litany of things that what they're looking for in a coach to make them qualified to give them any form of tools or resources. But yet, they'll just randomly call into a TV show or radio show for relationship advice. And these people don't have squat of experience in that. Okay, well, whatever it works for you. So gentlemen, I'm sure, especially for my more experienced men out there, experienced quality men, if you can share some wisdom with these young men out there and let them know that they have to put in the work. Share some experiences that you've learned from to get you to the point that where you are. And especially if we have friends that are married, maybe they can impart some wisdom, not just for them, but just for us as well. There's things that we can always learn. So with that being the case, I'll end of that. So ladies, make sure that you really are ready, because this is something that I run into a lot as well. Far too many women want men. They're not want to pay the price of admission. And there are women who really hate the term qualified. They have this big thing that we are the only ones who have to qualify. They have standards, and God forbid a man has standards. And I'm telling you, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're not going to meet a quality man. So allow him his standards, allow us our standards. Find what those standards are. If it's not for you, then next, there's someone out there. But make sure you do the work on yourself first. Just as I'm speaking to the men, they're putting the work in on them. Ronnie, me, myself, I continue to grow. I continue to invest in myself. I have coaches as well that I speak to. I never want to get to a place where I think I know everything. And I make jokes about having infinite wisdom or things of that. But again, it's all about growth. And I do believe in never-ending growth. And women, I hope you are as well, because that's what it's going to take to land a quality man. So with that being said, my name is Ronnie Walker, Master Coach of Exceptional Relationships, Dating, and Sex. And again, I thank you for another episode of Man Talk Mondays as part of the Ronnie and Yasheka dating platform. Again, don't forget to tune in and subscribe and hit the notification bell from whenever we drop new videos. I also invite you to look at the Dating Discussions website. There you can reach out to Yasheka and I if there's some questions and coaching that you're interested in. We're more than happy to help you there. Leave your comments below, as well as taking the time to share the broadcast with those you feel that can benefit if we can add some value to that. So, are there any other questions that you may have? Reach out. Some comments? Reach out. Consult? Reach out. Coaching? Reach out. I love hearing from you. I want to thank you for the continued support from all over the world that we're getting. And just know that this is something that's very near and dear to me, and something that I wholeheartedly believe in. And as men, being the best that we can be and continue to grow so that we can be better men for ourselves, our communities, our churches, and of course, the woman we want to have in our life. I thank you. And I look forward to hearing from you again. Thank you for continued support. My name is Ronnie Walker, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.